Hey guys, Ty Cohen here, and really quickly, what I want to talk to you today about is what investments are you making in your life? So when I say investments, I'm not talking about the normal stuff that you would expect for me to mention, like personal development or investments in books that you're reading or investments in maybe your health. I'm talking about financial investments. So one of the questions that I often get from people from time to time are, Ty, what are some of the things that you invest in outside of digital real estate or Kindle publishing or physical real estate? And in this video, I'm gonna actually share some of those things with you. And I want you to comment and let me know if you'd like to see more videos like this in the future, because I think it's something that I have never talked about on video, at least not much, maybe once or twice. I've never talked about it in my podcast. And if you're not subscribed to the podcast, make sure you go to kindlecashflow.com/podcast, because I share some great information there. But what I want to do is I want to give you the basics of what I kind of do as it relates to investing. And it's something that I think that every single person on the planet should be doing, and that is taking money on a regular basis and making sure that you're putting it into something outside of bills, outside of yourself, because you should be investing in yourself, and outside of saving, right? When my mother would give me advice on money, it was always save, right? And that was great, but I looked up one day and I had, a little bit of money saved. I didn't have much, to be honest with you, but it had not grown, right? I had a couple $1,000s saved, but it had not gained any interest. It had not been working. I hadn't had my money working for me to make more money. And it wasn't until I later understood how important it is to not save, but invest. Now, let me step back. I don't mean to not save at all, not have a nest egg, not have anything that you should have to fall back on in any event of emergencies or any event that something goes wrong, because something always will go wrong, right? You're always going to have something that pops up. What I mean is you should not have a large amount of money just sitting in a bank account and it not doing anything for you, because that money will never really appreciate in the way that it would if you put it into investments, right? So some of those investments are, for me, I'll give you a list of what I like to invest in. First, I like to invest in my business, right? So, because I've always seen, no matter what else I invest in, whether it's stocks, bonds, mutual funds, it's IRAs, whether it's, whatever else it may be, cryptocurrency, investing in my business is always going to give me the greater return. Now, that does not always apply for everyone, right? I have a little bit more of an established business, so I can invest in having products created. I can invest in bringing on staff and making sure that the staff that I bring on is able to perform duties that monetizes what they do, so that they are then making money for the company. But what happens if you don't have a business, right? Or if you're just starting out, how can you do that? Well, the first way is to invest in yourself. So what I mean by that is, outside of my business, I've always seen the greatest return, and so the next level of greatest return has been in investing in myself in the form of books, right? So reading things that I may not be familiar on or that I need to brush up on, right? So content that I need to be brushing up on. It's always going to be nonfiction. I'm never, I shouldn't say never, but in the last decade or so, I probably have read maybe 2 fiction books, maybe. One was the story of Jerry Heller, who was the manager for NWA, the rap group, and I can't even tell you. The other one was a book by Prodigy, the rapper. So those were the only 2 fiction books, right? So personal development, right? Meaning investing in books, audiobooks, definitely investing in seminars, right? Going to events and conferences. And I have to add to this that only investing in seminars and conferences if you are going to allow yourself to get out of your shell. And what I mean by that is when I first started to go to conferences and seminars, two things were not beneficial to me. The first was I didn't mingle. I didn't go in and network with anyone. So it wasn't really beneficial to me, right? Because the part of going in and being part of this crowd is the networking aspect of it. So if you're going to go out to seminars and conferences, make sure you go out with a goal of networking and maybe befriending at least 5 people. So set a goal. Hey, I'm gonna go out. I'm gonna befriend 3 or 4 people or 5 people, and do not leave until you do that. And not just anyone, but people that are in alignment with where you're looking to go. People that are going to be part of your accountability network. People that are going to help you to stretch and grow. All right. So that's the first thing when it comes to conferences and seminars. The next thing is making sure that you are taking in the information. Now, normally when you go to a conference or a seminar, there's multiple speakers, there's different topics. You don't have to take it all in. And that was the biggest mistake that I made, was thinking that I had to go in and get my money's worth and take it all in. One thing, if you walk away from a conference or seminar, it could even be like a meetup, a local meetup, right? With one thing that you then go in and immediately implement within a 72-hour period of you leaving that event, then you're golden. You've made the ultimate deposit in your personal investment bank account. All right, so let's do a little bit of a rewind before I give you the next things that I like to invest in. So first thing was what? Investing in myself in the form of books, audio books, learning material, investing in myself in the form of seminars, events, conferences, right? Now, the next thing is we're going to move into some of the more traditional stuff. I like to invest in the stock market. I think I'm really good at it. I think I do better investing myself than most quote unquote experts. I've tried a few out and they have not been able to do what I do. And I'm not giving you any type of financial advice here in the sense of what a professional would be able to give you, because I'm not a professional. If you need professional advice, you got to make sure that you go in and talk to a CPA, maybe some type of a financial advisor. I'm only giving you what has worked for me in my experience, all right? So I like to go in and invest in the stock market and make sure that I have a variety of things. Now, you're probably saying, well, Ty, I don't have the money to invest in the stock market right now. Absolutely not. Meaning, that's absolutely not the right way to think about it. There's so many different options now, more than ever, for anyone, even if you just have $5 to go in and invest, right? So you can go in and you can open up an account with like Robinhood, which is an app. So if you go to Robinhood, just as the name sounds, if you're on an Android or an iPhone, you can open up an account. You can open up an account with Stash, STASH, which is another app. I actually have accounts with both of them. I've got some accounts with my kids under both of them as well. I like to use like E-Trade. You can go into your bank and set up like a brokerage account if you wanted to. You can go into your credit union and set up a brokerage account if you wanted to. There's so many different options. So now, that's the first thing, right? So that's the third thing, investing in the stock market in the traditional sense. Now, I'm going to give you what is going to be dynamite for you. And that is to make sure that you take advantage of what's known as dollar cost averaging. I'm not going to go into too much detail as to what dollar cost averaging is, because I want to keep this video short. As you can tell, I'm rushing through it because I want to give you a lot, but not make this a 20-minute video. So dollar cost averaging is basically you're buying consistently, whether it's every day, every week, every month, right? Every 6 months, whether the stock market is high, at an all-time high, or whether it's at an all-time low. And it's balancing out in your favor overall. I shouldn't say I've never lost with dollar cost averaging, but 9 times out of 10, I've done really great with dollar cost averaging. Now, the thing about it is you want to be extremely consistent. So if you're going to invest, and I recommend that you invest every single week, right? Even if it's $5, you're investing every single week into the stock market. Make sure that you do not skip a beat. Make sure that you do it daily, every single day, or if you're going to do it weekly, right? Weekly is good too. Monthly is good, but I prefer weekly. Make sure you develop the habit. The easiest way to develop the habit is to set it up automatically. So again, going back to some of the apps that I talked about, Stash, Robinhood, even with like E-Trade, you can set up automatic transfers from your savings or your checking account into your E-Trade account or your Stash account or your Robinhood account or whichever other platform you want to use. And then you set up automatic purchases for whichever stocks you want to buy every week. Let's say it is, right? Let's say that's the frequency. So let's say if you say to Robinhood, you go in, you set it up. Hey, every Monday, I want you to transfer $10 from my savings or my checking account to my Robinhood account. And then every Wednesday, I want you to take that $10 and I want you to purchase stocks with it. And then you can say, hey, purchase $5 worth of Amazon stock, purchase $5 worth of, I don't know, Tesla stock, right? Those are two of the hot ones that are out right now that are all over the place. Take a look at this. My wife just brought me dinner. We're having some lobster tails, string beans, sweet potatoes, and what are you saying? It's on a paper plate too. Look at that. She's like, it's on a paper plate. They don't give a damn. All right, so where was I before I was interrupted? Would you care about eating lobster tails on a paper plate? Who cares, right? As long as you have the lobster tail. Let me know. Comment below if you eat seafood. Some people don't eat seafood or meat. Would you care if it's on a paper plate or not? Let me know. So back to what I was saying. So dollar cost averaging, right? Making sure that you're investing a regular amount on a regular basis. Every week is my preferred time frame, frequency, right? The other thing is making sure that you're varying the stocks that you're buying. So you should not just be investing and putting your eggs in one basket. So what do I mean by that? I mean that if you're buying Tesla stock, you should not just be buying Tesla stock. You should also be at a point where, you start to buy Tesla stock, and then you start to buy Amazon, and then you start to buy Procter and Gamble, and then you start to buy, you invest in some funds, right? And there's a ton of different funds out there that are really good, that are very competitive with the market. Let me know if you want me to create a video on that. And then the next thing that you should be doing is, again, having a portfolio where you've got multiple stocks in there, right? Not just the one. Don't do that. That's very, very, very bad, because if you lose out on that one, then you're screwed. But you want to kind of have it balanced so that if one is down, then the other one may be up, and then you're good to go. And over time, you're even in a better position. The other thing that I was saying is I like to buy consumables. So I like to invest in companies that have a long track record traditionally, right? Traditionally. And it depends on what your goals are. Are you investing for the short term, for the long term? Do you have a little bit of money, a lot of money? Are you looking for stocks that are kind of safe, or stocks that are more aggressive, right? But riskier. So I like to shoot for investing in consumables, number one. So by consumables, I mean things that are going to be used and purchased over and over again, right? Like laundry detergent, dishwashing detergent, car tires, even though those are not consumed as often as some of the other stuff. Cottonelle, like toilet tissue companies. So things that are used over and over and over again. And then also investing in companies that have been around for a while, right? Like Tropicana, or again, Procter and Gamble. Some of my portfolios consist of like Google. Google's been around for a while. And one of the reasons why I like investing in them is, although they have not been around for 50 or 100 years, they do have a consumable platform. And you're probably wondering, well, what consumable does Google have? And the same thing with Facebook, right? Well, it's their ad platform, right? So more people advertise on Google than ever. So you've got people that are consistently spending money on Google and on Facebook as well. So that's a little bit of what I wanted to share with you. I wanted to kind of, whet your appetite as it relates to money and investing outside of Kindle publishing and, like I said, digital real estate and some of the other things that are business related. If you'd like to hear more on what I like to invest in and more on investment tips for this particular channel, let me know, all right? The only way I start to share more of this is if I get enough comments. I need at least 100 comments where people are saying, hey, Ty, I'd love to hear more. about finances, about growing my money, about building wealth, and about getting out of a rat race. You can phrase it any way you want. Just let me know that you want to hear more, and I'll make sure that I do my best to share more with you. There's so much that I want to share with you, but I got to make sure that the interest is there. All right, so I'm going to get to dinner here on my paper plate, and I'll see you. Peace. Remember, year of the paper.